The history of the Baha'i faith. Well, in Persia, in around in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, you had Sheikh Ahmad predicting that the promised one of all religions was coming in. Particularly, was using the Quran, the fulfillment of Quranic prophecies, the Qayyam, so forth. And he had his followers because he was Muslim, and then his followers included Sayyid Kazem. So he then said that the promised one is near, that he told his disciples to go look for the promised one. So there were 18 or 19 letters of the living. So they were appointed by, well, that comes later. So they all went out. Mullah Hussein was one of them. He was a mullah. And they fasted for many days, and then he went where he felt the promptings of the Spirit. So he went to the city of Shiraz. Then once he was in Shiraz, this youth who was in his 20s came up to him and greeted him, showed him a lot of warmth. And he said, "What do you seek?" He says, "Well, I'm looking for the promised one." And he said, "Well, what are the features of the promised one?" He said, "Well, he's from a pure lineage, from Muhammad. He's without blemish, and various other things." So the Bab said, and the Bab's name as a man before he got the title of the Bab was Hussein Ali. He said, "Behold, these signs are evident in me." Well, Mullah Hussein was blown away by that, and he said, "Come to my house." So he came to the house, and then, but the way the Bab made his livelihood, he was a merchant. But he sat down and he poured tea for Mullah Hussein with his own hands. Poured the tea, and they sat there, and so then Mullah Hussein started asking him questions, like, "Sure, you're the one, right?" And he could doubt him. He asked him a lot of questions that were kind of like saying, "No, you're not that. You're not the guy," but kept asking him questions. So the Bab said to him, "It's not for the servant to question his Lord, but for the Lord to question his servant. But as a mercy for you, I will answer your questions." And so he went and answered all his questions without even being asked. And then one of the prophecies was that the promised one, would reveal the Surah of Joseph, the true meaning of it, without being asked. And the Bab did that. And all night long they were together, and it was just... And then Mullah Hussein said he was totally galvanized. It was so amazing to me. And at some point late at night, he says, "I have to leave. My cousin and brother-in-law are waiting for me." And he says, "Well, surely you made seeing them conditioned upon the will of God." So he got Mullah Hussein, didn't let Mullah Hussein leave, and he just kept revealing to him more and more of his teachings all night long. So when dawn came, he left. He said it transformed him. He says, "But tell no one that I'm the promised one. They must find me independently." And then another about 18 did find him independently. The last one to find him was Qudus. Qudus saw the Bab walking along with Mullah Hussein, and just by his gait, he got off his horse, ran up to him, kissed his feet, and said, "This is the promised one. Why have you not told me?" So Qudus was considered one of the greatest of the disciples or the letters of the living, and in terms of following the Bab. And one of the Bab's main teachings, he made a complete split from Islam, but one of his main teachings was that he came to prepare the way for him whom God shall make manifest, which Baha'u'llah ultimately fulfilled that prophecy. But that's another story.